I was in love with the woman of my dreams, and she was in love with me. This is Addison's story. We were engaged, then married. For years we lived happily together. Then one day, everything went wrong. She slipped down the stairs. I was not there to catch her. I can still remember the sound of her head hitting the cold, hard concrete at the bottom of the stairs. Her life was taken from me. What else was I to do, I ask you? I loved her. I loved her so much. I dragged her corpse back up the stairs and into our bed. Our love was reborn, her lifeless body accepting my affection. I grew to love the cold, lifeless, unresisting, unrejecting women. I still do yearn for them. There are three main mindsets towards paraphilia.
1. Paraphilia is a sin. This mindset is held mostly by religious folk.
2. Paraphilia as a mental disorder. This is considered to be curable and diagnosable and is held by most scientists.
3. Paraphilia is a natural variant to human sexuality.
Oh, hey, sorry, I didn't realize you were there. The views of paraphilia have changed throughout the past. Homosexuality was once considered a paraphilia. It wasn't until 1973 that the American Psychiatric Association removed homosexuality from its DSM, Manual of Mental Disorders. Now, homosexuality is considered an acceptable relation.
This begs the question, will paraphilias such as pedophilia and necrophilia ever free themselves from the shackles of society and enter into the orthodoxical norm?
Now, organizations such as NAMBLA, the North American Man-Boy Love Association, are being created. These organizations are gaining support from the media and support in favor of passing laws to permit their pedophilic practices. NAMBLA is even gaining nationwide media attention, and they've been featured on shows such as South Park and have gained attention in articles from Fox News. NAMBLA even has its own Facebook group where users are allowed to join and post their own pictures. In fact, NAMBLA's leaders are no longer hiding from the general public. Their leaders are going out and promoting their interests in rallies and organizational events.
Fun fact number 4. In the past, people used to treat pedophiles with castration. Oh no!
Do you foresee a future when paraphilia becomes a societal norm?
I actually believe it does, because over the past 100 years, the standards of sex and all the different things that have been accepted have been much more loose and much more widely accepted in pop culture. We see a lot more sexual innuendos and everything, so possibly in the very far future, strange fetishes and different uses of sex will be more widely used by many more people.
I think I do, because, you see, like, sexual things become more and more acceptable nowadays, and, people do crazy things. I mean, you see the abstinence thing for college that we saw today. You get the feeling that everyone's just kind of going at each other in college, and that's basically all they're doing there. So I think, as the more comfortable people get with something, the more crazy they're going to get with it.
As of right now, it's kind of hard because of the way that, we are and we kind of look at it in a derogatory manner. But I guess if you look really, really, really far into the future, it might be acceptable. I don't foresee it personally, but it might happen.
I hate to say no because the way things have progressed. I believe that gay marriage is going to be acceptable pretty soon. I hope that that's true. But as far as the other conditions, like pedophilia and all those kinds of things, I hope they don't become societally, accepted by society. As long as those, like I said, those acts are kept in private and they don't harm other people, then I guess that they'll be eventually allowed. I don't know.
Well, at first I think no, but then again, since homosexuality is becoming more and more common and acceptable, I guess if it continues to go with that trend, that eventually sex with animals will be okay, but I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see.
I don't think so. I think those are just so out of the normal. At least for homosexuality, it's still a person. I feel like it'll continue to flourish within the private people's own homes and in small, outskirts of society, but I don't think they'll ever be accepted.
I think society will be more accepting towards it, but I don't think it's gonna necessarily everyone's going to do it, I guess.
Society is constantly changing. The values and norms, expected behaviors of people change as the generations change. Media, lots of other things help contribute to this.
I decided to pursue my interests. I became an elementary school teacher. Within a week of teaching, the police were questioning me. I just couldn't keep my hands to myself. They sentenced me to 10 years in prison. Only 6 years left.
I became a wanderer, a traveler. I hopped from barn to barn, feeding on the warmth of the farm animals. One night, the animals made a particularly loud ruckus, and the farmer burst in with his shotgun and the authorities were called. I was sentenced to a year. An animal-free year in prison. I'm so lonely.
My wife's corpse had long decayed, and I longed for satisfaction. I attended the funeral of my deceased neighbor. She was beautiful and young. After the soil was poured atop the coffin, I waited until the last pathetic mourner left. Then, in the dark of the night, I uncovered my selected lover. Just as I was about to fondle her, the sky turned a flashing blue. I was caught, my love extinguished. I was sentenced to 5 years in jail. I am going to kill the gorgeous female prison guard. I am going to do it.
We come to our final question, the goal of our presentation. Is paraphilia morally justified?
Personally, I don't. I believe in monogamy, and I believe that you'd have one faithful partner, and then any weird, crazy things are probably, if it doesn't involve more than one partner, I guess, and both of you and your spouse aren't into that kind of stuff, then I guess it's alright, but,
What kind of stuff do you have in mind?
I don't know, if people like feet and stuff, they just have their little personal quirks, but if you're into animals and stuff, no, that's totally wrong. Look at AIDS. I think people thought someone did a monkey, and now AIDS is a problem, or that the government created